Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Bring the world
you guys to it. There you go. So now you're up there. We're feeling good, looking good, and now we're live.
We're live, finally.
Finally, we couldn't.
After some technical difficulties, being sabotaged by the rejects again. Like, those guys are just sore losers. That's all they are.
Well,
It's just pathetic.
And what did they say? They did their show last night. Why?
I don't even know why. I just saw, I was scrolling through Facebook at 9 o'clock or whatever, and it's like, oh, they're live now. I'm like, there's not a live main event or whatever. Or
I think they were ashamed.
I think they knew.
Show face.
I think they knew. They're chickens.
Yeah.
You got El Pollo Loco. Well, then
there we go. Yeah, fashionably late. Yeah, no, fashionably late after a
sabotage of our equipment.
Right,
that's what it was. It just says we can't even see who the user is. Doesn't even say their name.
That's right. Well, good stuff, right? The Royal Rumble happened. A lot of things happening. Who was it that put the meme out there? Don't forget to do Tricep Day.
Oh, Tricep Day, Drew McIntyre.
That was awesome.
It's been beautiful.
That was awesome. So, take it away. What do we got?
All right,
Megan?
so
better late than never. Yeah.
There's Megan tuning in. So, man, since our last show, a lot has happened. It's like a whirlwind of stuff. So right after our last show, we had the announcement that WWE Monday Night Raw is going to be on Netflix starting in 2025. Yeah. Their last broadcast is end of September on USA Network, which then they will still be the longest running episodic television weekly show in cable history or TV history. So other shows can now catch up to them.
Yeah,
in theory.
That just opens up a whole can of worms for me. Is how is Netflix going to change the model now going forward? Because you're gonna bring now in the WWE, you're gonna bring in episodic shows more so that are live. So
I mean, they've always had that relationship where they had the WWE movies on there, with the Big Show or Triple H starring in it. You have that relationship with The Rock now because that was on Tuesday, and now he is on the board of directors for TKO Group.
Corporate
Rock. I mean, it's for me, I think this is great. I'm going to say it for AEW. This is now their opportunity, and TNA too, to does TNT move Dynamite to Monday nights for that fan that wants that Monday Night Wrestling that doesn't have Netflix.
Yeah,
it's I don't have Netflix. Well, I get it. More than likely, I will once WWE is on there. I'll be more inclined to do it.
Look, so you can't even share passwords now with them. So I can't even be here's my account.
Right. Right. Ever since they did that password breakdown, it's just I haven't watched any of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, you had that news break. You had The Rock on Tuesday. Then you had everything with Vince McMahon coming out.
Yeah, so Tuesday was the whole TKO announcing The Rock as on the board, and then later that night on NXT, they announced his daughter is going to be the youngest GM.
Yep.
So there's some nepotism there at its finest. And then, what was it? Wednesday is when the whole scandal broke out more for Vince.
Well, it became like a federal case, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me get her name. What was her name again? Grant. Janelle Grant, I believe was her name. Is allegations against Vince for sex trafficking. Using her to try to re-sign superstars and to be a buddy of John Laurinaitis. And sometimes in the office and sometimes out of the office. So
is that the Seahawks title?
Close.
So that belt right there, that is a belt that Tom's Productions has sponsored the Johnsburg Feeder 8th grade team this year. So each week or after each game, pretty much a player of the game is awarded.
It's just bright as shit.
So yeah.
Well, it's it's newer, so it's also clean.
It's clean, yeah. Finally, it's clean. So it has some mangy hands on there. But yeah, so yeah, it's the Skyhawks logo is pretty much the same as the Seahawks logo.
Yeah.
To answer that question. So
well, too, I heard that's was it in our chat that's where Shane O'Mac that was the rub between
that was
allegedly, right?
Because he didn't, so Shane did not agree with his father's behavior.
Yeah.
And his father was upset because he wouldn't join in on the fun and the quotations. And he didn't want to be like Vince at all in that way. And props to Shane for stepping away and doing that.
Yeah.
It just questions the whole Stephanie McMahon angle. How much was she privy to? How much?
Yeah.
And again,
for real, right?
We still don't know. This is just the tip of the iceberg right now.
Right.
What's going to come out from this is going to be horrible. So where, from what I've heard in the last couple weeks now, not a couple weeks, actually a couple days now, they're really trying to kind of change some of the things with Vince McMahon in the new 2K24.
Eliminating Brock.
Eliminating kind of, he's now on the blacklist to be on commentary. He can't be talked about.
Yeah, what was funny with me is they gave Vince pretty much the Benoit treatment.
I was going to say
completely erased. You can't get any merchandise or any of that, but you can still get Brock's merchandise. And then I read reports and saw reports 99% of it's on sale, whatever, on clearance. It's not. It's 25% off with the discount code. It even says use the code, like there other stuff, and there's other items that they have on there that's still full price. And to me, what's just funny is we've heard nothing from Brock's camp.
Yeah.
His wife Sable hasn't said anything. There's no pending divorces or anything like that.
There's how much jail time I heard with him.
Well, with Brock or with I heard jail time with Vince. I didn't hear it with Brock yet. Because the only thing I read with Brock was I don't think anything actually happened.
Yeah.
She just sent him videos of her urinating or something like that. Which, whatever. So my whole issue with this case right now is they're calling it sex trafficking. And to me, reading some of the reports, some of the text, is prostitution.
Yep.
And she didn't get paid because they signed a non-disclosure agreement. It was for $3 million. She got paid $1 million, got a bunch of cars, nice life, and all that other stuff, material stuff paid off. She just didn't get her remaining $2 million. And to me, that's just prostitution. It's not sex. It's not sex trafficking. Right. And that's what they said. He even said, this is part of the job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anything, it's prostitution. It's not.
Right.
And then, looking at the text, the wording, the verbiage on text, what billionaire talks like that?
Yeah.
So that's where it's wait till the phone records are released. He stepped away resigned from the board, TKO. Oh, there's my son, Josh. Hey, Josh. Hey, buddy. And so, for me, it was the whole, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Just all that other stuff. But like with Vince stepping down for the promotional dollars from Slim Jim, because Slim Jim was going to pull out of the Royal Rumble if he was still involved. Like, nope, he resigned. He's no longer here. And Slim Jim came back.
And that's just where, I mean, again, we saw it happen later in the week, but you knew TKO knew what they were doing, and it was decided before that.
Right.
So it's like, was The Rock just kind of a gimmick to be put in place to, you know, distract?
Right.
Hey, focus over here.
Oh, we got him walking in front of the camera now. He didn't care anymore. This is one of those nights.
But what really bothers me is it's like I went back and watched a lot of like the Attitude Era stuff this weekend and week, and now with everything that came out with like the Trish Stratus angle, all that stuff, like, how long has this been going on?
Right.
Like that's just where.
Well, and I think like in our text thread, Ken and I and Rejects have it, like that was the real events during the Aggression Era.
Yeah.
Or in the Attitude Era too. Like that, Mr. McMahon,
That's
he was just
character.
flaunting it.
Right.
He was just flaunting it, like a narcissist that he is. He was just like, I can do whatever. I'm God. I can do whatever. Like, you can't touch me. I got more money, and I'll buy someone off.
He did it with the Undertaker when he put Stephanie McMahon on his symbol and raised it up like she was Jesus Christ on the cross.
Well, he even wanted to do an incest angle with her,
Yes,
and he's just twisted.
Well, Josh has shaved your hair.
Yeah, so what happened with that comment is our basketball team, I told them this week, if they go 5-0 this weekend, win every game, well, they could do whatever they want to my hair. It originally was for a tournament or a championship, and I guess today technically was a tournament. But so they won, so they elected on Tuesday at practice, after practice, to cut it all off.
There you go.
So
just shave half of it, Josh, and then the other half of the beard.
So just shave this side, but this side did not. That would
eyebrows and everything, bro.
Yeah. So, and like for me, like I don't care. It's hair will grow back. Right. It was more incentive for them. It's been for like last 2 years. I think I've been saying like, you guys win a tournament, you should do whatever you want to my hair. Well, last year we came close. The one was you had to go undefeated and win the tournament because it was a B tournament, and they lost one game, and they're all upset about that. But
Tony the Kid wants to know, you think this was a plot for the other board members to remove Vince?
Oh, I think it was a plot from Triple H.
Yeah,
I think I like when back in the mid-90s, the Click, they wanted to take over the business. They want to run the business.
Well, then do you think that it was Triple H, or do you think it was Shawn Michaels then?
Well, I think it was both. I mean, Shawn, like there's always there's always room. God rest his soul. But yeah, so like with that, I mean, there's always been rumors about Shawn and Vince, and who knows if that will ever be like in Dark Side Arena or whatnot. Oh, yeah. But like, yeah, Triple H, like, and them, they always wanted to take over the business and like run the business. And what do? He dropped China and saw Stephanie wanted him. Went with Stephanie. Like, he's in the family. He's been trusted to go forward. There's been like the divorce rumors with them last year. Those have died down. But now it's like there's no Vince. He's not in charge anymore. Nick Khan, who's great friends with The Rock, is pretty much the head honcho over WWE side of TKO. And you got Triple H underneath him to run creative. So, I mean,
well, Triple H and Rock get along, don't they?
You know, yeah. Well, now they do. Yeah. Well, right? When Brock first started, Triple H and Shawn wanted him out because they saw him as a threat. Sure. And like Brett was there to, hey, there you go. How many minutes in the show I talk about Brett? So yeah, Brett was there to like defend The Rock. Yeah, like be there for him. Like
14 minutes in.
There we go. 14 minutes.
I do have a picture of him right over your shoulder.
Yeah, you do. Old school Heart Foundation.
Nipple made it.
You know what's funny about that nipple is I had a shirt with him with he was wearing a black leather jacket. It was like one of those photo shirts. I don't even think his nipples were showing in the shirt, but like I don't know how many times I wore that shirt in junior high. And like one day, like my teacher's like, "Oh, you can't wear that shirt." And I'm like, "I've been wearing this for like every day for like 5 years. Like, what's wrong with it?" And she wouldn't tell me. And then like I had to flip it inside out that day, and I told my dad. And my dad was actually upset because he used to do business with the teacher's husband and thought that was like a repercussion on him for like leaving or whatever. And the excuse was because Brett was showing too much cleavage. I'm like,
man cleavage.
no, I thought it was Hitman because it said Hitman all over it.
Right. And Roman's been on top for how long?
3 years. Pre-COVID.
I think Megan actually just answered Josh's question there in the chat.
Yeah, there you go.
1,253 days.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
I love Roman.
I will say, if we want to talk about the week's events of the shows, I mean, I thought it was very interesting. And Tom and I talked about this today. Like, you had the draw for Cody to pick them. You had Seth speak, and you had
Monday
Roman speak. I'm gonna give Roman on that promo. I mean, like, he just took a lot of shots at Seth that were just like everyone's been talking about it.
Right.
And one comment was, you can't walk around in your wife's clothes.
Oh,
and it was just like, ouch. Like, I mean, Megan we were watching it, and she turned and she was doing something different. She heard that, she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he also made like a shot at Seth and got no pop for Seth. And it was like, and he's like, my point exactly. It's like, and I think like going into the week's events, so like we had the Royal Rumble, where I'd say let's just talk about the Rumble now, since we're into it.
You want to talk about the Rumble?
Well, let's talk about the Rumble now. So we start out with the women's Rumble.
Well, I mean, should we talk about the results of the Rumble, or should
We'll
we talk
get to
about?
that.
We'll get to that after.
Okay,
We'll get to that afterwards.
I mean,
I just want to maybe hint why the sabotage happened.
Right.
Why?
I think when the results come out, you will understand why the sabotage happened.
Why it took 45 minutes for our show to get it back on there. So yeah, so like it started out with the women's Rumble, which I think was probably one of the better matches of the night. Mm-hmm. They probably should have ended with the women's instead of the men's. The highlights from there was R-Truth just coming out unannounced. Like, like not realizing he was in the wrong Rumble.
He's been such a highlight since like him bringing him back. I mean,
right.
We were talking about it in that one show. What is he gonna do? And this is exactly what he is.
He's like 52 years old, looks the same as he did 20 years ago.
But I mean, he's the whole angle with
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, like even when they do like this on-screen vignettes, and it's like he's like photoshopped in there.
Right.
It's like it's great.
I mean, it was kind of like Sammy with the bloodline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to have him come out in the women's Rumble,
right?
Yeah, that was definitely a good angle.
And then like Chelsea Green, I think was another show stealer in that Rumble, where like all the spots she was taking, it comedic spots. Last year she was like the quickest elimination, and this year she was just constantly getting smashed by someone, or getting someone big falling on top of her. It was funny.
Multiple times.
And then in that match too, we had the debut of Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it was like a sheer pick up the biggest person you could over your head, hold them blocked towards each other, and just drop. I mean, it was definitely a good pop with that one.
Megan says she's trash.
Oh no!
Oh no, she's talking about Bianca.
Josh, your dad's trying to have that be your step.
So what Josh is referring to is like whenever Bianca's on and my daughter Sarah's watching wrestling with me, she's like, "Oh, that's Daddy's girlfriend."
Everybody quiet down. I gotta watch this.
And then she runs.
Mommy's on TV.
And then she'll run up to her bedroom and like grab her little Bianca action figure and come down and play with it.
My biggest thing with her, I think she's a great performer. I hate the long hair.
Yeah.
Just because she uses it as a weapon. She hasn't done it lately.
Right.
But when she first came on, and even with NXT, she would use it as a whip. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, all right, come on, guys. Like, someone needs to do the angle where they cut it off. And that's what I thought
just
they were going to do.
grab that choker with it.
Right.
That's what I do.
Well, sometimes they do it, but the heels will do it.
Yeah.
I mean, for that, like, it's at the moment where we'll have probably a potential Jade versus Bianca. I don't think we'll be at this WrestleMania.
I think they'll hint at it.
I think they'll actually start out as a tag team. I don't think Bianca's won a tag team titles yet.
I don't see it would be with her. I actually see her tagging with Natalya. Speaking of the Hart Foundation, just because
she was training her.
I mean, even when they were in the ring, there's been times that they definitely been seen together, and,
right?
Very nice. But that's the one thing. Yeah, Bianca hasn't won tag team gold. I could see her, going after that here. But yeah, I thought the women's Royal Rumble was definitely the better event of that pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Like for me, the downfall of the women's was Nia Jax.
Yeah.
She's still slow, still sloppy, and only there because she's The Rock's cousin. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
her talent is not good at all. I don't know what Kent's looking at there. Make sure everything's good. So then after that, I was kind of shocked that they did a fatal 4-way for the Universal title with Roman. To me, that match was quick. I think it was like quicker than Roman's entrance, is what it felt like. Right. But it's like we knew that Roman was going to retain. To me, that was just a okay, whatever match, but it wasn't one of his better ones.
Yeah, it gave LA a chance to, you know.
Well, they all kind of had that chance. They all did their finishing maneuver to get it. And
KO. I did like the way that, like, when he stacked all three of them on top of each other, I kind of like how they kind of were showing like that. But yeah, that match just fell flat.
Right.
It kind of fell flat like AJ Styles off the top rope there.
Bump. And then after that, we had Logan Paul versus KO, where I think we all expected Logan to win. Probably not expecting to win via DQ, but used brass knucks was my guess, which they got involved, and it was just KO got caught, and referee saw it, which is fine with me. But I mean,
yeah, Megan says, it really wasn't everything that hyped it up to be.
And that to me is Royal Rumbles in general. It's like I'd probably go to one once, but like rewatchability on some of them.
Timothy was there.
That's second year in a row, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's like when you're there and you get the initial, like who's next coming out, the countdown, like that stuff's fun. You get pumped up for that.
But that's the thing, like having those other events, those other matches in those events, it's hard for me to watch and be like, okay, this is really gonna be that match that's gonna take the show, because everyone's there for the 30-man, now the 30-man and 31 match.
I think they have to do one or the other.
Yeah.
You can't do like Elimination Chamber. You can't have both men and a women's match. Just pick one. Either the women's get the Elimination Chamber this year or the men's get it. Royal Rumble, either the men get it or the women get it. Like you can't do both. Yeah. And then, so then the night ended then with the men's Royal Rumble. Not really too many surprise returns in either the women's or the men's. Like the surprise returns, I guess you could say, would be Naomi. Then they had the TNA Knockouts champion there.
Which they ruined Naomi because it was just right away.
Right.
I mean, they gave her the time to give her the entrance.
Well, that's usually what they do, is usually picks 3, 4, or 5 are the surprises or the returns.
Yeah. Well, then you had 30 come back and be Liv Morgan.
Right.
Which, again, was good to see her come back.
But did that do anything really for you? Not really.
No.
And then, this year for the men's, you had Andrade back. And then it's like, okay, we're getting into the 20s. You still know that, like, the man that shall be nameless has to come out. Drew McIntyre needs to come out. All these names that still need to come out. And it's like, they haven't come out yet. It's like when they get closer to 30, it's like, well, you already know who it's going to be.
Exactly.
And for me, it's like when it got to 30 and Sami Zayn came out, there was no pop whatsoever. It was like everyone was pissed off. It wasn't The Rock. Yeah. And I mean, that would have been time for it. But and it was funny to me is like in that match too, like R-Truth was another highlight in that one. Tried to get tagged in by Dom.
Yeah. Which
was funny. But then Priest just comes out and like beats the crap out of him, which.
And now they're trying to set that up. So, you're going to now have Awesome Truth again, go back for the titles.
It'll probably be the WrestleMania match if it's not in Perth.
On the kickoff show.
Yeah. And then, so then it ended it with the final 4 being 2 AEW rejects versus pretty much 2 WWE homegrown stars, Gunther and Drew McIntyre. And then you leave the AEW rejects as your final 2.
Yep.
And in there, one of them suffered a torn tricep. And the other one is pretty much who everyone knew was going to win the match.
It was very predictable this year. I mean, clearly, we'll find out later.
Well, yeah. So, like, with that, is just the issue right now I have with WWE, besides the allegations, it's the corporate predictability. They're going to do whatever's going to make them money. They could care less what the fans want or think.
Is that part of TKO though?
Oh yeah, that's part of TKO. So
I mean, it's been pretty. I mean, the last few years before the merger, even. Right?
well, like when Vince stepped away originally, it became a little bit less predictable.
Yeah.
But now with him gone, and you have the whole corporate with TKO right now, it's just like you saw the results for our picks. I mean, it's.
Boy, did I.
So you want to talk about that now?
Should we do that now?
We can do that now. So we have our results.
Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it. It's all about control, and if you can take it. It's all about your shit, and if you can play it. It's all about me, who's gonna make it. I am the game, you don't wanna play me. I am control, no way you can shake me. I am heavy, no way you can pay me. I am the way, and I know you can.
The teams were.
Blacked out my life.
You're looking at them right here. We got Tom out, new to the ring, new to the squared circle,
new partner
for your tag team. We had SG3 and TDK. We had Joe and Zach. And
didn't Old Man have a team or no?
No. They Old Man,
Zach and
Joe went together.
No.
They booted him. Again, another.
So it was like demolition angle where they had Axe Smash Crush and they got rid of Axe.
So we went through each, and the rules were this: we went through each match, and then you weighted them, and then so one match might be a 4 and one might be a 1. So the one that you didn't confidence picks, right? And so if we go with Joe and Zach came out with a combined score of 14. A combined score of 14, getting 1, 2, 3, 4 picks correct on the night. 4 picks correct on. I'm not sure if they were looking at the right card, if they were
look at last year's card.
I don't know. SG3.
Well, isn't Joe Manis like their expert at wrestling too on their show too? Like,
he's the guy.
Right? Oh wow. You may need a new expert for the reject rundown.
That's right. SG3 and TDK, right? Now,
the big mouths.
If we recall, they got the belt stripped for them,
right?
Because they put us in Facebook jail,
right?
And they wouldn't put it up for they weren't
defending it.
They weren't defending, and then they put us into Facebook jail, which caused a couple of ripples on a few shows, and so we had to strip them of their belts,
right?
Because of that. And they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks correct for a grand total of 18 points. So right now they're in the lead. And then we've got Dom and Alex here. And let's just be honest. 1, 2, 3.
Well, it's 4. Tom and Nick and Alex.
And Nick and Alex. All right. And Nick's
if our truth was the.
There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 picks correct. Now, keep in mind too, we had a woman's entrance, right? Surprise entrance for bonus points of 5 points each. Tom got both of them right, and you got the ladies right? Now, Alex ran every one of the contests, all 4 correct. You did not, Tom.
I know. I refused. I picked the Rock as a surprise or not a surprise, but at number 30.
So this is the most lopsided victory in the history of these tag team belts ever. So I don't know if it's the new guy.
It's the new guy.
If it's the new partner.
Because he knows I won't pick
Timothy.
Seth or the man that shall be nameless.
I don't know. So with Alex bringing home 15 points, he beat Joe Madness and Zach by himself. With Tom bringing home 19 points.
19 out of possible 20.
Out of a possible 20. He took care of SG3 and TDK by himself, Joe and Zach by himself, and your team, the new champions, the new tag team heavyweight undisputed champions at 216 with a grand total of 29 points. Right there, folks.
So we say the champs are here again. The belts are back where they belong. It is no, we are playing this one. Look at this.
Gold here, and I mean, again, the classic.
Now listen,
We're like the main event mafia.
we got Megan throwing hearts at
we know someone's going to be getting love tonight.
Switch belts, just the belts. Hey, that was an incredible defeat. I literally, when I added them up, I was like, holy knuckles.
It's funny. I went back because I watched it actually, because I was actually had to get a new washer and dryer that day, and so I couldn't watch the Rumble live, and so I watched it before our games, and I couldn't get to all the events, but I had to watch our podcast before and write down all the picks. So I had everything picked, and I'm sitting there and I'm circling all the ones that we got right. I go to time. I go, there's no way we lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
no. Their downfall, they all came in wearing,
the man that shall be nameless
t-shirts with taped up wrists and things like that. And they all picked that fella. Now, if you recall, I said that he looks like he's a plumber. He's out of shape.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
I can't hear it. It's supposed to be a toilet flush.
Pop sound.
Yeah, right. It hurt the old tricep. And they had that. A couple of them had that weighted pretty heavy. But they too thought that Becky, was going to take it.
And that's for me is just like the corporate TKO is predictable.
Yeah.
Like, and especially Triple H too now in charge. Like Bailey hasn't won it yet.
Yeah.
She hasn't won a Rumble yet. That's one of his girls.
So right here, right now, what event are you guys going to defend these?
WrestleMania.
All right, there you go.
You're not doing Perth.
There we go.
We defend when Roman defends. Our tribal chief.
You get acknowledged.
That's right.
I acknowledge the elder.
There you go. Right. So good. I mean, that was an amazing aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, all I could think of is Stone Cold, stomping a mud hole through it and whipping that candy ass.
Right.
And
are there any beers in that?
Right.
No, it's just coffee right now. But like for me with TKO and just wrestling in the whole in the history, they always look at, okay, this is our big pay-per-view of the year. How do we build up the storyline to that?
Yeah.
These are our matches we want for this year. How do we get there? So it's like, I pretty much knew Cody was going to win, but I had hope that The Rock would come back. And knowing that you're taking Cody,
it was a safe.
It was a safe.
You only had it weighted one.
Well, the other nice thing is, I mean, I like what they did with him on SmackDown.
Right.
Again, with the social media aspect of things, if you watch the videos of when it went off the air, what happened between them two was a lot more eventful because on the air, all it was just a stare down. Like they walked towards each other. They didn't get close enough where they were face to face, but it was nice to see Cody do the call out, have a little conversation with his counsel. And again, just to see that, to set that up. Great.
Right now.
And with that too, is like on Monday where you had the Seth and Cody promo, and I think that was all set up. So then the fans can now understand why Cody's going to choose Seth over Roman. So they're trying to prevent that backlash.
Yeah.
But they're still getting the backlash because it's been like the most disliked video in their history.
Yeah. At the time of this morning, it was 305,000
dislikes
on YouTube.
Really?
And for that, I mean, like I sent out the picture, like how I even had the same vibes where it was the Brett Hogan from WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
It's like the same vibe as that, where like you have Cody, here's your superstar, the fans are getting behind or whatever. And then you just bring in your mega money maker or whatever that you just know, like, we put him in, we're going to make money.
Yeah.
And like, hey, Cody, like, yeah, I haven't wrestled in 10 years or whatever it was. And we're just going to put him in main event WrestleMania for a championship.
Yeah.
Didn't even do the Rumble. But
Right.
It's also funny because like when he did the whole day one Raw,
right.
and we kind of talked about it, he looked out of shape. He looked out of ring shape. Coming in on Friday, he looked in better ring shape in just such a quick amount of time. Still looks phenomenal for his age.
Right. Looks better now than he did when he started.
Yeah. That's why I try to keep my shirt.
Yeah.
What I noticed on Friday was, so he's now a Hollywood star.
Right.
There's different energy when he's acting and whatnot, but when he's sitting there, you could see that he was getting excited again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His breathing was a little bit quicker. Like, I really miss this.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it kind of, and you saw it kind of keep building throughout the whole stare down and whatnot. And I was just like, ooh, damn, okay, he's getting excited about this.
And Alex and I were talking too, and I said, I think this actually helps Cody, because a lot of fans were predictable. Okay, Cody's going to win it, going to challenge Roman, and we're going to have Roman versus Cody part 2. Like, Cody should have won it last year at WrestleMania. That was the perfect time for him to win it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, his story gets delayed. He's getting screwed out of this in a way.
Well,
that was the story.
But I think now he gets the fan support because he's getting screwed out of it. And now more fans like myself, or it's like, oh, this is kind of wrong for Cody.
See, what I see is, I don't think the dual belts, the fans like the dual belts.
Triple H doesn't either.
So does Rock come in, beat up on Roman, and then that belt gets retired? Or he hands it back to Roman. It's like, it's yours, get out of here, but it's retired, or something like that, right?
I don't think he goes into WrestleMania with the belt.
You don't think so?
I don't.
I think they're going to get rid of the belt. So I think
what's going to happen is Cody is probably going to defeat Seth at WrestleMania. I can see Priest cashing in that night on Cody. Kind of the similar storyline with his dad of like winning a belt and having it taken away right away. So part of that story with that same belt design, and then possibly winning that one again at like the next pay-per-view or something like that. And then at SummerSlam unifying them, or at Crown Jewel or whatever it is, unifying them again.
But I could see Cody also going
and then recreating this belt.
I was gonna say recreating it to retire the Universal and
bring back the WWE
Broken Eagle
Part 2. Yeah, Winged Eagle Part 2, like he did with the Intercontinental belt. That's what I see kind of happening right now.
I'm still sticking with it.
So what happened? Like,
they're getting rid of it.
With the injuries at the Rumble for what was supposed to be the other main event was originally going to be Seth versus Man That Shall Be Nameless. And I was talking to SG3 about this over phone during the week. Like, I was talking out both ends of my mouth in a way, where I go and say, like, okay, so now you're going to bring this guy in who hasn't had a great wrestling match in years, still looks out of shape, hasn't wrestled at all in WWE yet on live TV, have him just win the Rumble and then main event WrestleMania. Like, that's going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yep.
But then here we go, we have The Rock doing it, and it's okay.
I don't think that's okay,
but
that's me.
Or I'm fine with The Rock winning the Rumble and then headlining WrestleMania, even though he hasn't been wrestling.
Yeah, but you're talking about two completely different caliber
Right.
of talent there. I mean, the Man That Shall Be Nameless, yes, held the company for a while, was in the company for a while, but in that time, he also still had Cena. He still had The Rock. He still had Brock Lesnar. He still had other talent that was there. The Rock had other talent as well, but he transcended those generations just like John Cena did in this generation.
Yeah.
So I would be okay with The Rock coming back after a hiatus, winning the Rumble, headlining WrestleMania versus the Man That Shall Be Nameless, and some other people that you could put in that category as well. Because again, what he's done.
The Undertaker's still undefeated at WrestleMania.
No, he's 22-1.
Yeah, that's right.
22-1 now.
You know, But I mean, the pipe bomb, segment left a huge taste in
All
everyone.
right. And that's what they're hanging on to, clinging on to, and it hasn't changed. His music hasn't changed. The shirt design hasn't changed.
Yeah. So that the flimsy arm. So now he looks like an old lady with that underarm hanging there, right?
Yeah.
Flapping in the eagle wing, flapping in the wind. So this is where he has become a cancer in the past.
He has, yeah.
Right.
And that's where like all of a sudden his attitude starts changing.
Yeah.
And like he'll say like, oh, how great this company is. He did the exact same thing with AEW when he was first there, how great it was, how freeing it was,
Yeah.
how he wants to work with all these guys, blah, 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 blah. Gets hurt, attitude starts to change. Like Tim said, like what you saw in like the insurance industry with people like when they're on their pain meds or I'll get off the pain meds. And
he's how old?
45.
Right. And Cody's how old?
37.
Right. So, and Cody's in much better shape.
Right.
So, you know, if I'm looking at the two injuries, the pectoral rip and this tricep rip, I don't see that he's got it in him to come back
And do what's needed to take to come back.
Correct. Right.
That drive.
I can see him coming back, and if he wins the title, but being that fighting champion, being that I don't see that.
I don't see it. Right.
You know, and Roman again on Friday made a comment about Seth being, you know, the workhorse with a limp. Never exactly what the man of champion name would be. It's just a workhorse that, you know, one bump and he's gonna be done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing that really impressed me about the Royal Rumble was the press conference afterwards and the way that Triple H conducted that. You know, people were trying to press up on, you know, on the allegations, on the allegations and whatnot. And he just was like, let's talk about all the
all the positive that happened this week. And that's where
that's cool.
I didn't figure like where Vince stepped down was because he knew what kind of bad press this would bring. And if he's not there, we can't talk about it.
Right.
He's not here. He's no longer with the company. And guess what? He'll probably be back in the company within a year. Like, as soon as everything dies down and
without a mustache.
Hopefully without the
porn
with our new lady.
Right.
And another lawsuit shortly thereafter.
That's right. Man, when you're a billionaire, things can happen with a stroke of a pen when you're a billionaire.
Right.
Oh, sure.
It wasn't an issue.
Make this go away.
It wasn't an issue until the payments stopped happening.
That's right. You know, so I like the direction it's going from the front office type, right? And I think that Triple H is handling it superbly, and I think it's going to be fun to watch this transition and see.
Well, right now I'm kind of curious because now with The Rock headlining, just like didn't win the Rumble, just showed up on SmackDown to challenge to challenge Roman at WrestleMania, pretty much.
I think you're going to see a twist in there, though. I think Rock will be there, but I don't know. You know, might there be a twist in there we get everybody jacked up, we sell the tickets, right? We load the stadium. It's a 2-night event now, right?
Right.
They're gonna sell out. I mean, they sold out with those cards in this.
And you know, and does an Uso step up, or is there something different that, you know, The Rock brings in?
And that's where, like I've said before, like with this whole show, Young Rock, they have the tease of one day we're going to headline WrestleMania. I mean, this is it. They like to throw in those little cookies and Easter eggs and other stuff. So,
and also, what happens if The Rock gets an offer for a movie contract?
Right.
You know, like. You're not going to pass that up to go do Fast 12.
Right. Right. You know, and I think, you know, to that point, you know, okay, yep, we want you to do this, but, you know, now you're looking at these older guys. Now, Rock is in good shape. Let's be honest. He takes care of himself, but he's not quite in wrestling shape, as we've said. And, you know, do you pull a quad? Do you rip something?
I mean, he did that with his match against Cena.
Yep. You know.
But I mean, with Roman's 20-minute entrance at Mania, I bet Rock will probably have a 10-15-minute entrance. At least. So the match will only be like 10 minutes.
Right.
But again, I mean, there's so much time still between now and Mania that Roman could also not be champion, and all of a sudden, you're gonna have that main event, but it's not for a title.
It's not for a
It's
title.
just for,
yeah, I like that swing. You're right.
Or does Priest cash in some point? Or
Yeah.
Because again, I can see, because right now they've already set the seeds for like Roman not trusting his inner council.
Right? Does he cash in, and all of a sudden they're in they're wrestling, and can you smell? And it distracts Roman.
Well, I mean, I think you definitely play that up these next couple months. It's just like every once in a while he's out there, just let the first like 30 seconds of his, like 10 seconds of his music play.
Right.
Just to be like, because he's gonna be over his shoulder.
Right.
Or
that's a good point.
Or have like solo like stand up to like go hit the guy and then just step
right.
down and walk away.
Or he goes up there and then you play the music and The Rock does step out and so it doesn't do anything. Because again, there was a couple angles with the camera where they showed The Rock looking at Roman and you saw Solo in the shot, and Solo wasn't looking as dominant as he normally does, like where he's like looking at the opponent.
Right.
He was looking more at Roman. Like,
I gotta go back and see that.
Yeah, like there was a couple angles that I watched.
SmackDown?
Where like they showed it and he wasn't looking at that opponent like, okay, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna fix this.
Ooh.
And like I said from weeks ago now, like he was sent from somebody. And
yes, he was sent from council.
The elders.
The elders.
And again, I mean, who gets more elder than
The Rock?
Right now?
Than the elder.
Unless, and then you have also Rikishi's talking about them signing his other.
Right. So, Jacob, I think it was.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker made his debut there.
So because of like the allegations with Vince and also Brock Lesnar being allegedly involved in it.
Allegedly.
So they scrapped Brock segments and replaced them with Braun.
Yeah.
So Braun did pretty much everything that Lesnar was supposed to do. Lesnar
nice
was supposed to get eliminated by Dom to set up a match at Elimination Chamber. Instead, Braun Breaker got eliminated by Dom, but then they didn't do any follow up with that on Raw or not. Yeah. He was on NXT tonight still, so I don't know what's going on with him. Like they should have
see him. I like that guy.
I mean, again, on Friday they did it where he was in the office and Pierce and both GMs were there and was like, oh well, here's my offer, and like, well, let me think about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they're able to play that now as he's a free agent. He can go between the shows, but he's definitely a talent that they got to do something with.
Right.
The way he came into the Rumble and
I mean, and for me, like I would have him and Gunther Strink to be the new IC champ. He's the guy that's believable to do it.
Yeah.
The fans will get behind right away.
But now, do you have him pull a Goldberg and just like beat him quickly? Or do you
not Gunther?
You give him the respect.
You give him the respect.
Or I mean,
I don't think you do like the honky tonk thing.
He just starts destroying people.
Yeah, you just bring him in.
Well, I bring him
where you
right.
Destroy everybody.
Oh yeah, you do that, and then you get the Gunther, and it's more of a match.
Yeah,
but it'll be a better match than like Goldberg doing it. Sorry, Ken.
I don't know about that one. The PE teacher from Goldberg.
So yeah, so now like the whole WrestleMania card got like screwed up with the allegations and injuries and stuff like that. So they pretty much did like the rush thing of like, okay, we need to get The Rock in.
Yeah,
and we need the star power.
You're going to notice that these guys are wearing the tag team championship belts because they blew everybody out. So just want to put that out there.
Undisputed. Acknowledge us.
That's right. Yeah, good stuff. And that's what I said, right? My pick for 2024, coming on the scene, it was going to be Braun Breaker. So I'm excited to see him.
And that's where, like, right now with everything that's been going on too, where I mean, I can see this whole like The Rock now pretty much taking Cody's spot. Is this going to now like affect talents re-signing contracts? Go like, hey, like, because you got Drew McIntyre as free agent, you got AJ Styles is going to be free agent, Seth Rollins is going to be free agent, Becky Lynch is going to be free agent. So now it's like all of a sudden, like, I've been here for so long, working my ass off and to do all this stuff, and now you just go give my spot to someone else that hasn't been here just because of whatever.
Right.
So I can see that like coming into play, like with contract negotiations, especially with Cody too, because I don't think he re-signed yet. And I think his deal is up next year. So, I mean, with him, it's like, hey, you told me this, you told me that, and you kept bumping me and pushing the goal line further and further. Like, I've done everything. I'm like, I've been your new Cena. I go to all your house shows. The kids love me.
Yeah, I still can't wrap my head around him yet, though.
I mean, I don't understand when they always show him like, oh, when he arrived and he's in like on Monday he's in a pink suit, then he comes out in like a more low colored suit, then he's in a blue suit, then he's in like, how many suits are you bringing to this
Well, and that's you're the American nightmare, right?
Mm.
I don't think of a nice tailored pink suit as a nightmare.
That's when you were an executive with AEW,
right?
Yeah.
And so, I think of like the Undertaker or Kane,
the biker.
Something that's gonna scare you.
Well, I mean, if you go to the American Climate right now, I mean,
Maybe he has the American Nightmare dressing up like a politician.
Exactly.
So
I guess so, right? I don't know, but and still got that little lisp in there.
Yeah.
I really want to like him, right?
Right. Same here.
It's like I just can't.
As a person, like him, whatever. I like good guy.
Yeah.
But watching him wrestle, it's exactly the same every time. And Seth Rollins is becoming the same way too, where it's superhuman Rollins, where nothing you can do beats him.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's boring.
Yeah.
He doesn't like. Some people will say, like, okay, well, Brett always had the same moves. Brett told a story in all of his matches. There's no story being told in these matches.
No, right, exactly. Yeah.
So Brett would go and sell, like, okay, his arm's hurt. I'm going to work on his arm the whole match.
Right.
Or he did this to me in the match. I'm going to sell this the whole match. Like, I can't use my left arm at all because he twisted it. Whatever. I can't use that anymore. So I have to figure out another way. Well, then it's like, oh, I can use my left arm now because I could do my finishing maneuver.
Right. And I'll use my finishing maneuver 5 times because they kick out of it the first 4.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like the one thing there was a live show that Shinsuke attacked Cody after the live show, which was like this week. So I was like, okay, are you still having them feud? Like,
right.
What's the story here? Because I mean, again, you can't do the Seth Rollins and Cody kind of fighting here and there, backstage, whatever, to build up to WrestleMania because Seth's hurt.
Right.
He's not medically cleared to do anything, and you're not going to. So you got to have the fill-in. So now does Shinsuke sneak his way into the main event?
Ooh.
Because now that at least gives you 2 people that are in ring shape and medically cleared to be there in case that's not there.
And then to me, that's what the issue with the Money in the Bank briefcase is. Okay, you got a hurt champion. Just cash it in.
Just cash it in.
Just cash it in. Stop delaying whatever.
Right. Now, what was the injury? I didn't read.
It was the MCL.
So he's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Level grade 2. So it wasn't grade 3, which is the worst.
He's 4
one.
to 6 weeks out.
So he should be healed in time for WrestleMania. Right. And then my also understanding too, like with especially knee injuries and that kind of stuff, you can't really fly in a plane long time.
No.
Especially going to Australia. Yeah, especially to Australia. So like I don't see him at all going to Australia.
No, I mean, well, he's probably first class or whatever.
Well,
yeah, but you're not medically cleared. So I mean, that 4 to 6 weeks would put you into March safely.
All right.
That's well, I mean, modern. I mean, take a look at what's his name, the quarterback for the Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he was up and walking around. So I mean, they've got the best trainers, best doctors. Right. So for you or I, it's 4 to 6 weeks.
But the guys that get you steroids a little bit sooner.
Yeah, the special doctors.
Right.
Right. The locker room doctors.
Dr. Feelgood.
That's right.
Again, Elimination Chamber is February the 24th.
Yeah, he won't be ready for that.
No,
definitely not.
So I mean, you're not gonna ship him down there.
And they're not even announcing any matches yet. The only stuff I could see there would probably be Rhea's world title and Elimination Chamber match. And then probably the U.S. title because Gunther can't travel out of the United States unless they're going to do like the winner.
Why can't he travel out of the United States?
His visa.
Oh, visa.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
So yeah, so that's like I don't like even when they're initially saying like him versus Seth possibly going at WrestleMania, it's like he can't win the championship because it's like the next month I think they're at Crown Jewel or something, and it's like you can't go there.
Interesting.
But again, I mean, you have so many top level talent right now that don't have a place. I mean, Rita is not, because again, Bailey challenged
Io Sky, which was
Io Sky,
predictable.
which was predictable, exactly. So you're gonna have that whole kind of angle. So now, where does that leave Rita?
Well, I mean, they've teased it with Becky.
Yeah.
So I mean, somehow it's gonna be Becky versus Rhea at WrestleMania.
So I mean, like, do you get something coming out of Elimination Chamber from that?
Maybe. So it could either be that, or it could be like the women, whoever wins the women's Elimination Chamber faces Rhea, which I could see them do too. But Rhea has to wrestle in Australia, or because she's from New Zealand, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's going to be there. She's advertised for it. So maybe they do her versus Nia there, and then have Becky in Elimination Chamber to win that to face Rhea.
Because even in all the marketing material, it's all Rita. I mean, it's not really anybody else on the marketing.
Grayson Waller too is on them too.
Oh, yeah.
So like the one rumor too is they may have Rock come back to Perth to confront Grayson Waller or something, or he may be a guest on Grayson Waller's show, and they may do like a mini quick match.
Kind of
so
like with Gender.
Yeah, so he gets that Grayson Waller rub that he needs so bad.
Sinner.
Not the Vince McMahon rub.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we'll just continue to move children around. No.
Not children, it is 40 middle-aged women.
That's children to me. I'm old guy.
Well, compared to him too, I guess, yeah.
Right. That's good stuff. All right, so we've got 2 weeks. There'll be some good news probably rolling up in the next 2 weeks.
So rumors are Mercedes Moné has signed with AEW, and that should be announced soon.
Yeah.
MJF has finished shooting a movie, so that's why he's been gone. So he'll probably be coming back, my guess, probably around Revolution.
Okay.
Who's that other free agent from?
Takada or something? Yeah, Takada, a New Japan wrestler. He had a good match there with TNA. He was in talks with WWE, but I think all signs are pointing he's going to go with AEW.
Nice.
So for me, like, what's nice now is now knowing that Raw is going on Netflix, AEW's in their contract negotiations with Warner Brothers, and I could see them moving probably Dynamite to Monday nights starting next year.
It'll be tough. Go up against Raw.
Well, Raw's on Netflix, and
still got to be Monday.
You still got the old people that like the old cable box.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, for me, it's technology is always a cycle.
Yeah.
Like vinyl's coming back right now.
Yeah.
Vinyl records are coming back. People want them and
love the sound.
They love the sound or whatever. Some VHS tapes are coming back now. It's like they're reselling stuff on VHS tapes. Why? Nostalgia. But I mean, yeah, and with all the
that
charges.
means Hogan's coming back. Yes.
Like I told you, he was in the news not that long ago for being a hero. So
that's right.
WrestleMania 40.
Well, right now before the Rumble, they announced the cover athletes for
2K.
The 2K, and Cody's on one, Bianca's on the
with Rhea, yeah,
with Rhea on the deluxe, and then on the Ultimate is like 40 years of WrestleMania, and it's Hogan's on there and everything like that, and that's all great. But my question is, if I was a free agent, both sides, I mean, like I would want to know from AEW's aspect and WWE/TKO, what's the pitch? I mean, like everyone talks about like in MLB, like you have a big signing, like what's the Cubs pitch to Shohei? What's this? Like, what's the draw to go to WWE? What's the draw to go to AEW? I mean, because they're both kind of spinning their wheels to me.
Right.
So, like for you, my point growing up watching it was WWE's always been the dream, no matter what. Like that's your dream company that you want to work for as a wrestler.
Yeah.
And some people, once they go and reach your dream, they realize it's a total nightmare and want nothing to do with it ever again. And like it was like the worst thing that happened in our lives just because of the constant circus and travel. And now we're finding stuff out behind the scenes. Where I could see more AEW's pitches more like you get more time with your family.
I mean,
we don't have that hard travel schedule like WWE has.
You can be the best basketball player in the universe, but your dream is to play minor league baseball.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you decide to do that for 18 months. And you
Made a
didn't,
couple movies in the same
and,
time.
and you didn't enjoy riding around on a bus. So then you went back to being the best basketball player in the universe. Allegedly.
Yeah. With a simple fact. But no, I think about that all the time because it's like you hear all these news about this free agent, this and New Japan and AEW and
yeah, I think a lot of I agree with Tom. There's that pinnacle, right?
Right.
You grew up watching it. You maybe even grew up watching it when it was the WWF, right?
WWF,
right? I grew up watching Georgia Championship Wrestling and on the TV tray eating frozen pizza. You know what I mean? That was our Saturday with Gordon Soley, and man, we were all about it. And then it progressed, and we fell in love with the WWE and the WCW then, and you watched and battled. But I think that's the pinnacle. But I think what it comes down to Tom's point, is it's about relationships and where you fit in, right? So it's like, yeah, I made it here, but oh my gosh, I didn't know there was all this crap and red tape and whatever. So even though I've made it into it felt better over here, because they understand better. I don't know, but now or do you go to the TNA?
Well, now it's even like, because like you go on NXT and it's like, okay, you're getting the fan base or whatever, but then they call you up to the main roster and they do nothing with you or completely sabotage you. Like how many times they've done it with Karrion Kross, and it's like DIY too, like Candice LeRae, like doing nothing.
Yeah, I definitely like when they brought up, with the final testament now of the stable and them going after
Lashley and
Profits, and now they just got they got a female too now.
Yeah,
I can't think of her name though. But I mean, it's just like one of those things where, again, like Tom was saying, I mean, it's the pinnacle, but AEW to me is still all he is to me is that's just a toy.
Right.
Like I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna be your new toy, and I mean, because he's proven it
over and over again.
He had
a new announcement, new signing.
Oh, he's gonna get a title push, and then all of a sudden, I got a new announcement, and now they're gonna get a title push.
Oh, that's where it's like, I think was it Tim that said a year ago, like when they did all those mass releases with WWE, and then AEW just signed like all of them, and then overstacked the roster and not doing much with it. And that's where it's like they have Ring of Honor. They got to get Ring of Honor a time slot somewhere, and use some of those guys. Use some of your older veterans like the Hardys to help those younger guys, develop them, bring them up to the next roster. Because that's their thing right now. It's just like they go one too many times in a well with their 4 pillars, and you're not seeing anyone else develop. Like Rusev still like doesn't wrestle at all. And that's where I think they got to do, like, Collision has to be one separate show. That's your old style, old school Saturday night wrestling that you grew up with watching. FTR is perfect for that. I would put Rusev over in there, put Cesaro in there.
I watch now, right? We're kind of back in the early 80s aspect. And here's what I mean. You got good size, but the wrestlers aren't ripped and cut up like they were in, the late 90s, early 2000s.
The action figures.
Right. Yeah, they're not cut up like that.
Unless they're part-timers.
I mean, you could take a look at Bob Backlund and some of the Van Eriks. I mean, they weren't huge, right? They were me and you in the ring, right? That's kind of where
you're VFW guys.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now on both sides, right? Because people's hearts were popping, and never mind, right? Allegedly, right? From use of
vitamins.
Taking your vitamins every day, right?
Hogan's vitamins. So
to your point is we're cycling not only, but I think in the style of and I think what I want, I like the big. That's why I said the guy who hurt his tricep. I never got it. That's why I stopped watching for a while. So I'm like, what is this? He's a middleweight. This guy's not.
He's not a true champion, right? Yeah. He's not cut like a champion, not built like a world champion.
Right. So if I'm gonna watch and enjoy it, you take a look, and you had three Batista guys and one X-Pac. It was just the way it was. But,
right. And the Batista guys had no charisma whatsoever.
None.
They're just big and action figure, but could not
Android
talk.
age.
And yeah,
That's right.
Well, I mean, I'm just hoping they don't do the 80s where everyone had to have a gimmick. You know, you had a dentist, a plumber,
right.
Garbage guy,
a barber,
the goon, the hockey player.
That's right. Yeah, I hope they don't go back into that. But
Well, I think they kind of have to for some of it. Because I think right now you have too many Steve Austins.
Yeah. That's true.
Everyone wants
Too
to be a
many.
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Everyone's a Steve Austin.
Yeah.
It's our name, which I know a lot of them, they do it just for trademark issues because WWE can't take your real name.
Right.
And so they can use it wherever they want to go now. And our part too is like, well, does anyone even have a true finisher anymore? Everyone's kicked out of everyone's finisher.
I mean, nobody has the leg drop.
Right. The people's elbow.
Something I was watching one of Bubba Ray's podcasts, and they were it was actually him and Stone Cold. They were talking about how they protected the finish, with the Dudley Boys, and they were gonna let the Undertaker finally.
Oh yeah,
it.
I remember.
And he came out. And he's like, "I'm not doing it." He's like, "You guys have protected this for so long."
Right.
And he was like, and then the person who broke it, I can't even think who did it, but who kicked out of it? It was like a nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were so pissed, but Vince made him do it.
Right. And that's what I heard too, like in a report too, where like Pat Patterson was building up Dolph Ziggler for so many years. And like they'd draw this matchup or whatever, and Vince would change it on him just to see Pat Patterson's face.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing to him? It's just a joke to Pat Patterson. You're screwing up this guy.
But that's where I think a lot's going to come out of this allegations and report of all this. So I think there's going to be a lot that is going to show the back end of it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, now what's your pitch? Like, okay, Vince is gone.
Right.
Sell me on the WWE. I'm a free agent. Why come to here? Yeah. You were a pinnacle. And keyword, word.
The best promoter ever.
Right.
Is gone. I mean, right?
Mhm.
I mean, between him and Don King, and he blew Don King out of the water.
Right.
I mean, this guy knew how to promote.
Right. He was always a step ahead,
Yeah.
like with social media,
And
the
nice
live
one.
streaming, and for now.
Yeah, allegedly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look what happened with COVID. I mean, he came out. He's like, okay, how do we still get this? And how do we sell tickets to an event that we can't have? Okay, let's put screens, and you buy
That's great.
this.
Yeah.
You buy a webcam.
Brilliant.
Oh, 100%.
Brilliant.
And that's like with Vince too, just knowing the devil in him. Like he's got the Saudis in his back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them like going like, hey, TKO, WWE's too much of allegations, all this other crap. We'll sell it to the Saudis.
Yeah.
And guess who's
their
back in
website,
charge?
it's what English, Spanish, Arabic. That's what
And he
you're
said that's
preferring.
WWE's home is the Saudis. So I could see something happening there. What is funny too is Shane and Stephanie are still listed as superstars on WWE's website.
Yeah, I saw that.
Vince is not.
Yeah.
Brock's merch is still on there, but
now.
Vince isn't.
For now.
So,
All right. That puts us almost at the top of the hour,
yay.
which is nice. After y'all were sabotaged, knowing what the results were.
Oh, did you hear that they broke up their teams last night?
Oh, you're kidding! I did not.
They're picking new teams.
Oh,
For like the 5 minutes I listened to, I heard like that
you
part.
all beat them so bloody
So bad.
that they're turning on each other.
They're
now.
turned on each other and they're picking new teams.
I gotta laugh at that. Is that right? Oh,
You know, maybe we shouldn't even defend at WrestleMania. Maybe we should let those two go at it at WrestleMania.
Oh.
And then the winner of that faces
Number
us.
match.
That's,
Or let them do the Perth one or whatever.
that's SummerSlam or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they got to wrestle in.
They got WrestleMania. We got to know who we're challenging.
You can.
Well, I'm not doing triple threats
you can,
anymore.
You can set it up. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys.
So I'll say right now,
Championship advantage.
I'm not doing triple threat
let's not
matches
pull a
anymore.
Roman. Let's not pull a Roman. Megan says. So
Megan.
No, she said ramen.
hey, hungry?
Hey, your man's the champ. Why would you like not want him to continue being a champ for
Right.
so long?
You know what though? I kind of like what
Wait,
you're
is there a
saying. So
pay-per-view?
it's you know what? So it's not a three-way
No.
for WrestleMania.
No.
You should have them.
So they have to do Perth,
Yep.
and then we'll go against the winner for WrestleMania.
I like that. That builds a little story.
Right.
There could be some trash talking. I like that.
Yes, her kid, Little Fukar, was Named player of the game today.
Yeah,
for
that's awesome.
made it a big 3.
That's what that belt's here for, yeah.
Yep.
Never gave up.
That's his belt.
Kept
That is
going.
awesome.
Kept trying.
Listen, congratulations on the. Yeah, I mean, it was a bloodbath. I mean, literally, you guys came in and you threw, Joe and Zach out of the ring. I don't even. They got scared. Maybe the McAfee. They just stepped in and stepped out. Like, well, I don't want
Pretty much.
I don't want any of this, guys. And then y'all just.
Well, the sad part is I went back and, like I said, I listened to it, and we even called that too. We're like, oh, McAfee. Like, oh no, you can't do announcers. I'm like, well, he had his WrestleMania moment, and he wanted to have a Rumble. Rumble moment.
So now we have him and Michael Cole as the new announcers for Raw.
Mhm.
Yep.
Corey Graves, Wade Barrett as announcers for SmackDown.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Baron Corbin being an announcer.
Well, they actually showed him coming into the NXT event with Breaker.
Birth Breaker, yeah.
They have that little tag team going.
For the Dusty Classic.
And what's going to happen when Breaker does go main roster?
Right.
Yeah.
And
listen, these guys don't adjust your volume. These guys have been screaming in the gym 5 times this week. That's why they're a little bit hoarse and celebrating their huge victory.
Big day today. We completely swept today.
That's it. Congratulations again. We got to get out of here. It's about that time. Sorry about the delay, folks, but thanks for hanging in there with us. We did get sabotaged by someone from the Rejects.
The Reject Rundown as usual.
Figured out. So for all of us here, 21.6 The Net, thanks for joining us. And until we meet again in 2 weeks here on the most electrifying hour of radio right here.
Plus some tonight. Overtime.
A little overtime. They earned it. Hang in there. Be good. But more importantly, be good to one another.